Ethan Lee, Ben Sabin, and Kabir Cuddy join us now. Guys, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
So you've been doing this podcast since 2023. Before that, it was a live radio show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious what motivated you. What I'm reading is you guys saw a lot of stuff with the usual cliches from experts, and you're like, that's not really answering what high schoolers are really going through. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what were they saying that wasn't clicking with you?
Well, we saw a lot of cliche stuff, like it's okay to struggle, take some deep breaths. And, we wanted to really dive into the things people weren't talking about, on the radio show and then the podcast. And that's kind of how it started.
So, Ben, what aren't they talking about?
So when we view the cliche stuff that's going on with the dialogue around mental health, and in our schools, we see, a lot of statements like Ethan said, like, just take a deep breath, take breaks. But we really wanted to speak to the true anxieties, the true struggles, the true, in a lot of cases, depression that high schoolers feel. And by talking about our experiences, we can speak or give a voice to those struggles and make those people feel comfortable.
Yep.
So it's better than just cliche things that can actually isolate people.
So Kabir, what is driving these struggles, and what is the one piece of advice you heard that you said, wow, I think that might really work?
Yeah, so in today's high school environment, teens are, driven to stress by a lot of different factors, struggling to come to terms with their identity, academic pressures, college, bullying is also a big one. And so I think one of the best strategies we have on Mind Matters is to find your why. And what we mean by that is finding a passion that drives you, like a sense of aspiration. When you have something to look forward to, or when you have something that you're constantly trying to get better at, or you're trying to improve on, as well as a system of support around you. We always encourage people to have, a trusted adult to be able to talk to, right? I think that's a key indicator of, mental health, good mental health is being able to communicate your feelings to a trusted adult or a peer.
So Ethan, there's always been struggles to get into college. That's nothing new. Is what's making it so much worse? They say your generation is having mental health struggles like no other. Is it social media, or is it more from what you're hearing?
I think social media is a big part. Kids are constantly seeing these highlight reels, colleges people are getting into, committing. And I think a big part of it is realizing that, it's a highlight reel. People are rarely going to be posting struggles or these lowlights, and really just these highlights that kind of, isn't reality.
Ben, do you venture into beyond the everyday anxiety that a lot of teens have to things that are more on the spectrum, like autism and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So in our past episodes, we've discussed topics that most people have dealt with, like anxiety, stress, depression, but we've also talked about more unique topics like, body focus, repetitive disorders, amongst other things. And the goal of that is to make people feel who are struggling with these things like they have a community. And it's one of the most efficient ways to create a community is online, because people aren't subject to the societal stigma, like opening up to their peers around them, because they can be, alone in their room watching our podcast and feel like there are people out there who understand what they're going through, which is our entire goal.
Kabir, do you feel like you're making a difference? I mean, you guys probably are doing this and you're like, I don't know, is anyone listening?
Well, I mean, of course, there's, it's very hard to gauge, the level of, mental health awareness overall in society, right? But I think by doing this podcast, the main goal is just being able to help one person per episode, right? That is the main idea, right? Even if we can just help one person, feel recognized, or, give them the encouragement to speak up about their mental health issues, or, reach out to someone, I think, that will have made it worth it. Even if, the broad audiences, even if that's not, something we're affecting, I think just a single person is all that matters.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations,
keep up
guys.
the
Thank
good
you
work.
so much.
Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. Now you're off to school. You have the day off.
Yeah, off to school, yeah.
But you got to go now. Everybody's seen you on TV. Otherwise, I tell you to blow it up. But what are you going to do when you're on the #1 show? You take that risk.
They know you're not sick. That's their problem. All right, the podcast is Mind Matters. For more, you can check out their site and socials. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.